Okay, class, we shall proceed. So, under our previous discussion, we defined obligation as a juridical necessity to give, to do, and not to do. So, let us first discuss this obligation to give. So, an obligation to give is also called a real obligation. Diba? Sa previous natin na presentations, okay, we said that an obligation to give is a real obligation. Okay, as distinguished from the obligations to do and not to do, which are personal obligations. So, an obligation to give may be an obligation to give a determinate or specific thing. So, itong determinate class is also called specific. Okay, so synonymous yung dalawa. Some authors would use determinate, some would use specific. And then questions sa board exam, you may also use determinate or sometimes specific. Okay, but do not be confused. Determinate and specific is synonymous. Number two, it may be an obligation to give an indeterminate or generic thing. Okay, so ang word na indeterminate at saka generic is synonymous din dito sa number two. So sometimes we will be using the term indeterminate, sometimes generic, pero at any rate, pareho lang yun silang dalawa. Okay? So take note, yung determinate at saka specific is the same. Indeterminate and generic is also the same. So let us distinguish anong kaibahan ng determinate compared to indeterminate. Or we can say, anong kaibahan ng specific versus generic. Okay. A determinate or specific thing is designated physically or segregated from others of the same class and is capable of a particular designation. So when you say a specific or determinate thing class, dapat ano siya? Specific siya segregate mo siya from others. Example, a Toyota Vios with plate number ABC123. Ibig sabihin, there are several cars and then you designate a determinate or a specific thing. Example is this Toyota Vios with a particular plate number. Okay? Or you can also say as an example, land with transfer certificate of title number T12345. So yan yung title ng land. Okay, so yan ang specific thing. Ibig sabihin class is determined siya, determined siya from all others. For example, yung Toyota Vios, maraming klase ng car, maraming klase Toyota na car, pero determine mo na yung thing na gusto mo is yung Toyota Vios with plate number ABC123. Or in our second example, yung land, there are several types of land. But if you want to be specific, you determine what kind of land. That land with is title number T12345. So yung indeterminate or generic thing naman refers to a class or genus. Class or genus is the same thing, to which it pertains and cannot be pointed out with particularity. Okay? And take note class, the class or the genus does not perish. Okay? In Latin, we say genus nunquam perit. Example, a Toyota car. Okay? The Toyota car is a class. Okay, maraming klaseng Toyota car, kaya siya tawag na isang class siya. Isang class, isang group, isang genus, Toyota car. Marami masyadong Toyota car sa buong mundo. So, hindi siya determinate dahil isa siyang class, isa siyang genus, isa siyang group. So, it's called an indeterminate thing. Okay? Another example is land. Okay? Land is maraming klaseng land sa buong mundo. If hindi mo siya gi-specify kung anong klaseng land, then it is, when you just say a parcel of land, then it's an indeterminate or generic thing. So, saan pumapasok itong genus non-quamperate? Halimbawa, class, you promised to deliver a Toyota car. Okay, so hindi natin alam anong klaseng Toyota car yun. Basta sabi mo Toyota car, so generic. And then, yung Toyota car na i-deliver mo, ninakaw. Okay, kinarnap or tinutukan ka ng baril, kinarnap. So, are you still obliged to deliver a Toyota car? Yes, because marami namang klaseng Toyota car. You can get another Toyota car. Diba? Why? Because genus non-quamperate. The class or the genus or the group to which the Toyota car belongs, okay, still exists and did not perish. So, you can get another Toyota car. To compare, plus dito sa determinating. Halimbawa, you promise to deliver a Toyota Vios with plate number ABC123. Okay. So, habang i-deliver mo na sana, yung Toyota Vios na yan, tinamaan ng kidlat, nasunog, naging abo. Okay? So, dahil determinate siya, specific siya, wala nang ibang Toyota Vios with plate number ABC123 kasi nga isa lang naman ang plate number na ibigay. Wala nang ibang Toyota Vios na may ganyan na number. Okay? You're not anymore obliged to deliver kasi nga wala ka nang ma-deliver. Why? Because the thing you promise is a determinate thing. Whereas dito sa indeterminate thing, kung sinabi mo Toyota car lang at nawala yung Toyota car sa na hawak mo, you can get another one. That is the difference. So let us first discuss this determinate or specific thing. Yan. Okay. So there are two kinds of obligation to give class. Obligation to give a determinate thing, that is one. And the other one is obligation to give a indeterminate thing. So let us first discuss this obligation to give a determinate thing. Okay. So dahil determinate siya, specific, hindi na siya basta real obligation lang, kundi specific real obligation. Specific because the thing is determinate. Real obligation because it is an obligation to give. Okay. This is not a personal obligation but a real obligation. Let us have an example. Okay, on January 1, 2020, Mr. D obliged himself to deliver to Mr. Chi a specific land on September 1, 2020. Okay. So in this illustration class, sinabi dito specific land. Okay. Huwag mo na kontrahin yan. Ibig sabihin yan, specific yan, hindi yan indeterminate. Hindi yan generic. Specific land yan. May when the problem or the question sa board exam or sa test or sa exam says specific land, huwag ka na mag-argue na wala man title din sir, walang number. That is, pag sinabing specific land, ibig sabihin ng author or ng examiner, specific land yan, hindi yan indeterminate, hindi yan generic. Okay? So, huwag mo na kontrahin yan. So, let us determine the elements. Of course, the active subject is the creditor. Sino yung creditor? Yun yung pwede mag-demand na i-comply yung obligation. In this case is si Mr. Chi. Si passive subject, yung may obligation. In this case, si Mr. D. Then the prestation or subject matter is an obligation to deliver a determinate thing, which is to deliver a specific line. The efficient cause of the vinculum juris is the promise made by Mr. D to Mr. G, yung agreement nila. So, yan yung elements of the obligation. So, yung passive subject, yung debtor. The debtor is the passive subject. He is obliged to perform, of course, the obligation. So, in an obligation to deliver a determinate thing, ano-ano ba ang duties ng isang debtor? Number 1, to take care or preserve the thing pending delivery. Okay. Ibig sabihin, class, if you promise to deliver something, from the time of the promise, you are now duty bound. You have the duty to take care of that thing. Okay, why? So that at the time na i-deliver mo na siya, meron kang ma-deliver. Kasi i-preserve mo yung thing, i-take care mo yung thing before delivery. Okay. Take note, class, this duty will only arise pagka nag-promise ka na. Okay? When you promise to deliver something, or when you are obliged to deliver something, then from the time that you promise, or from the time that you have been obliged, that is the starting point for the duty of the debtor to begin, which is the duty to preserve and take care of the thing pending delivery. The reason behind is that so that pag nag-deliver ka na, meron ka ma-deliver. Number 2, the second duty of the debtor in an obligation to deliver a determinate thing is, of course, to deliver. Pagdating ng time to deliver the thing. Okay. That is before the delivery, you have to take care of the thing. Pagdating ng delivery, of course, you have to deliver. Ano i-deliver mo? Yung thing, including its fruits, accessories, and accessions. We will discuss this one, the ABC, fruits, accessories, and accessions in the next slides. Okay. So, hindi lang yung thing i-deliver mo, pati ang fruits, accessions, and accessories. Okay. So, itong fruits, accessions, and accessories, considered ito nakasama doon sa thing. Unless, nag-stipulate kayo, pag sinabing stipulate, class, ibig sabihin nag-agree. Stipulation or agreement is synonymous. Unless otherwise stipulated, ibig sabihin, unless nag-agree kayo na itong fruits, accessories, and accessions hindi siya included sa delivery, that is the time na yung i-deliver mo yung thing lang. But, if you have not agreed on anything, it is considered that you should also deliver the fruits, the accessions, and accessories of the thing. Okay, hindi mo lang i-deliver itong ABC if nag-agree kayo na hindi siya kasali sa agreement. Pero, kapag silent agreement ninyo, it is considered na kasama ang fruits, accessories, and accessions sa doon sa thing pag i-deliver mo na siya. Number 3 of duty of the debtor in an obligation to deliver a determinate thing is to be liable for damages in case of non-fulfillment or breach. Okay. Pag sinabing breach of contract, class, breach of the obligation, okay, ibig sabihin nun, hindi mo i-fulfill yung obligation mo. Okay, so you will be liable for damages if you will not fulfill your obligation or in case of breach of the obligation. Number 4 is to be liable for damages, again, damages na naman, in case of fraud or also called dolo, negligence, also called culpa, or delay, also called mora, or in contravention of the tenor thereof. Kaning dolo, culpa, mora, or in contravention of the tenor thereof will be discussed in the next slide. Okay, just take note for purposes of this slide, we are enumerating the duties of the debtor in an obligation to deliver the determinate thing. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 duties. Okay. Take note of this number 1 and number 2 class. Very, very important. Number 3 and number 4 also important, pero mas madali lang ito i-discuss kaysa sa item 1 and item 2. Anyway. Okay. Let us discuss the first duty, to preserve the thing, using the same example kanina. Okay. So on January 1, 2020, Mr. D obliged himself to deliver to Mr. Chi a specific land on September 1, 2020. Of course, we have determined that the creditor or the active subject is Mr. Chi. The passive subject or the debtor is Mr. D. Okay. So who will preserve the thing? Of course, si Mr. D. Why? Because nasa kanya naman yung thing and he is the debtor. Kailan niya i-preserve yung thing? Di ba sabi natin is the duty, the debtor has the duty to preserve the thing pending delivery. So from the time na naging obliged siya, or from the time he promised, kasi sa example natin, January 1 siya, naging obligated to deliver. Pero the land will be delivered on September 1 pa. So when will he preserve the thing? When will Mr. D preserve the thing? Of course, from January 1 until he delivers the thing. Kasi pwede naman class na hindi niya na-deliver ang thing on September 1, na-deliver niya September 10. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, si Mr. D will preserve the thing from January 1 until September 10. Doon siya nag-deliver. Okay? Do not say that Mr. D will preserve the thing from January 1 to September 1. That is wrong. Okay? The duty to preserve is from the time na nag-promise siya or from the time na naging obliged siya at to the time na nag-deliver siya. Okay? For as long as hindi pa siya nag-deliver, kahit na lampas na sa due date, may duty pa rin siya to preserve the thing. Okay? So, how should the debtor take care of the thing? Paano ba niya i-preserve itong thing nito? Okay. The law says, according to what is required by law, if any. So, una mo tingnan, may sinabi bang may batas ba about dyan? Halimbawa, you promise to deliver the land, yung kanina. May batas ba? May sinasabi bang batas kung paano i-take care of the thing? Kung meron, sundin mo yun. Pag wala, edi wala. Okay? Number 2. Okay, pag walang sinabi ang batas, then according to the stipulation of the parties. O kung may na-agreehan kayo na stipulation na kung paano i-preserve. For example, yung land kanina, sabi niya, i-preserve, okay, nag-agree kayo, halimbawa, nag-stipulate kayo na yung land, lagyan ng fence, kahit na barbed wire lang. O di, sundin mo yun because that is your agreement, that is your stipulation. Sir, halimbawa, sir, wala namang sinabi ang batas kung paano. Wala ding nag-agree ng parties. Paano i-preserve ang thing? Number 3, if there is no law or stipulation, then you have to preserve the thing using the proper diligence of a good father of the family. Okay, sometimes, the Latin term is used, which is bonum pater familia. Okay. Itong proper diligence of a good father of the family class is also called ordinary care. Take note na sa tatlo na siya. Proper diligence of a good father of the family is also called bonum pater familia or ordinary care. So, pag sinabing bonum pater familia, it refers to the proper diligence of a good father of the family, or to the term ordinary care. Yung tatlo na yan, proper diligence of a good father of the family, bunong pater pamilya, at saka ordinary care. Minsan gina-interchange siya ng ibang authors or ng ibang examiners. Pero it means the same thing. So, ano ba ibig sabihin ng bunong pater pamilya? Okay. Kapag walang sinabi ang batas kung paano i-preserve yung thing, wala din nagrihan yung parties, then you use the proper diligence of a good father of the family. Ibig sabihin, class, you think about what will a good father do using ordinary care. For example, lupa. Wala ka man naagrihan. The obligation to deliver the lupa, yung kanina na example. Wala kayong naagrihan, wala din sinabi ang batas. So, what will a good father do to a land to take care of the thing? Okay, ibig sabihin, linisin mo. Okay. Bantayan mo lang na walang papasok na iba dyan, walang mag-squatter. Okay. Yan ang ibig sabihin ng diligence of a good father of the family. Ibig sabihin ng batas, class, gamitin mo naman yung sa tingin mo gagawin ng isang mabuting tatay para mag-preserve ng isang thing. For example, you promise to deliver a car, a specific car. Okay, walang sinabi ang batas kung paano i-take care yung thing na yan. Wala din kayo na-agrihan. Then, you use your diligence of a good father of the family. Okay, isipin mo lang, ano bang ang ginagawa ng tatay, good father of the family, para alagaan ng isang sasakyan? Siyempre, trapuhan mo every now and then, i-warm up mo paminsan-minsan para hindi masira ang battery. Okay. I-park mo sa maayos na lugar, huwag sa gitna ng daan. Okay. So that is what is meant by the proper diligence of a good father of the family. Okay, yung take care of the thing is ang ibig sabihin noon is you have to do that before the delivery. Now, when does the obligation to deliver arise? Kailan mo i-deliver? Okay. Yung obligation to deliver determinating, halimbawa, na-preserve mo na yung thing before delivery, ngayon i-deliver mo na. Ang tanong, kailan mo ba siya i-deliver? If there is no term or condition, i-deliver mo yung thing at the time of the perfection of the contract. Ibig sabihin, walang term. Ibig sabihin ng walang term, walang sinabi kung kailan. Halimbawa, ang term kasi ibig sabihin, date. Kailan mo i-deliver, date, term. Diba? I will deliver to you in 2 months. So, that is a term. Or I will deliver to you in 1 day, in 2 days, in 1 year. Term yun. Ang condition naman, class, is I will deliver to you if you sing. Or I will deliver to you if nakapasa ka sa exam. That is a condition. So, when will you deliver? If may naagrihan kayo na term, then you follow the term. Or, kung may naagrihan kayong condition, then you wait for the condition to happen. Halimbawa, sir, wala kaming napag-agrihan na term or condition. When will you deliver? Of course, at the time of the perfection of the contract. You promise to deliver a car. Walang term, walang condition. I-deliver mo na. Kasi nagkaroon na ng perfection. Nakapromise ka na eh. So, if there is a term or there is a condition, then you wait for the moment that the term will arrive. That is the time you deliver. Or kung condition naman ang naagrihan nyo, then wait for the condition to happen. That is that. Okay? Pag nangyari na yung condition, then that is the time to deliver. Okay, so using the same example kanina. Let us discuss ano itong term or period. So, on January 1, si Mr. D obliged to promise to deliver to Mr. G a specific land on September 1, 2020. So, obviously, kailan siya mag-deliver? Gi-promise niya na September 1, 2020. Kasi yun yung term, yun yung period. Okay, doon siya mag-deliver September 1. Okay, using the same, hindi pala ito the same. Halos the same lang. Example, on January 1, 2020, Mr. D obliged himself to deliver to Mr. G a specific land. This time, hindi siya term kundi condition. If Mr. G will get married. Okay. When will Mr. D deliver? Of course, kapag nangyari na yung condition, when Mr. G marries, that is the time to deliver. Okay, sabi natin kanina, discuss natin muna at our accessions and accessories. Ang kaibahan itong dalawa. Accessions class is everything which is produced by a thing, incorporated or anything attached thereto, either naturally or scientifically. It includes natural accessions such as alluvium and industrial accessions such as buildings, plantings, and sowings. Lahat daw ng naka-attach sa thing class is accessions. Okay, itong example na ito, itong alluvium, industrial accession, building, plantings, and sowings. Example ito ng accession sa land. Okay, for example, may lupa. You promise to deliver a specific land. Of course, naka-attach sa land yung building, yung plants, yung mga nakatanim sa lupa, tsaka yung alluvium, kunwari. Alluvium class is, yan yung lupa na dinala, halimbawa ang lupa mo na sa gilid ng ilog. Tapos dahil sa sigida ng ilog, minsan ang ilog may dala-dala siyang mga eroded na mga land. Tapos napunta doon sa lupa mo, yun ang tawag doon alluvium. Okay. So kapag yung maliliit na lupa dinala ng tubig ng ilog papunta sa land mo, okay, hindi mo naman sinadya yun. Basta kay natural lang na dinadala ng tubig ilog sa land mo. Yung alluvium na yun, yung mga na-erode na land na napunta sa iyo, you will become part of the land, of course, by natural accession. So, for example, if you promise to deliver a specific land, okay, di ba sabi natin, you have to deliver the thing, including its accessions. Okay? So, pag sinabi mong land, ang land, ibig sabihin ng class, kasama yung building, lahat ng plant, lahat ng tanim, lahat ng alluvium, kung meron doon sa land, kasama yun sa i-deliver mo. Ibig sabihin, lahat yun, i-turn over mo doon sa creditor. Unless nag-agree kayo na tanggalin mo yung building, tanggalin mo yung plants, tanggalin mo yung mga tinanim, bago mo i-deliver. Okay yun. Okay, pero kapag walang ganun, ibig sabihin, kasama ito mga accessions na ito sa i-turn over mo, i-deliver mo. Ano naman accessories class? Accessories are those which are only for embellishment. Ibig sabihin, for beautification purposes. Nandun siya. Or for the use or preservation of another thing. Like keys to a house or the hydraulic jack of a car. For example, class, you promise to deliver a specific car. Okay. Okay, pag deliver mo ng car, kasama yung susi, pati yung jack. Why? Because accessories yun. Unless nag-agree kayo na hindi mo isali yung susi, hindi mo isali yung jack, bahala na siya magpagawa ng kanyang susi. Pwede yun, kung nag-agree kayo. Okay? Pero kung wala kayong naagrihan, when you deliver the car, you also have to deliver the keys and the jack and such other accessories na nasa loob ng car. Okay? Take note class, itong accessions and accessories. Kasama yan sa i-deliver kahit na hindi yan sila na-mention sa agreement. Why? Because ito kasi sila, nag-follow sila doon sa principal thing. Like sa accessions, ang principal thing yung land. Sa accessories, ang example natin kanina is car, kasama yan sila. Mag-follow yan sila doon sa principal thing. Magbuntot din sila doon. So even if hindi sila mentioned sa contracts agreement, you have to deliver these things together with the principal. Okay? Unless, sabi ko nga, nag-agree kayo na hindi ito kasali. Pwede yun. Pero if there is no agreement, you have to deliver these accessions and accessories even if hindi siya na-mention sa agreement. Okay, take note of this principal class, accessio sidit principali. Okay. Ibig sabihin, accessories and accessions will follow the principal. Okay, so if you are asked, kasama ba ang accessions and accessories ay deliver? The answer is yes. Why? Because accessio sidit principali. Okay, these accessions and accessories will follow the principal thing. Kung usa i-deliver, kasama ang accessions and accessories. Mag-follow yan sila. Okay, take note of this. Accessio sidit principali. Fruits naman. Okay, sabi natin kanina, i-deliver din ang fruits kasama ng thing. Okay, when you deliver the thing, the determinate thing, kasi we are still in the topic of class obligation to deliver a determinate thing. Kasama yung fruits, yung thing, siyempre, yung fruits, accessions, and accessories. So, discuss natin what are fruits. Hindi lang kahoy ang may fruits class Okay, natural fruits. Tatlo ka klase ang fruit class. The first one is natural fruits. So, any spontaneous product of the soil without intervention of human labor or the young and other product of animals. So, yung anak ng animals is also considered natural fruit for purposes of this law. Dapat walang human labor, wala kang ginawa. Okay. Yung puno, wala ka namang ginawa, nagmunga, natural fruit. Yung kambing, wala ka namang ginawa, nanganak yung kambing, natural fruit yung baby niya. Industrial fruit naman class, ito yung may human labor. Halimbawa, may mango plantation ka. Okay, gitil mo yung soil, gi-cultivate mo, gilagyan mo ng fertilizer, yung may human labor na. So yung mangga is not a natural fruit anymore. It's called industrial fruit. Kasi nagkaroon na ng human labor or industry. Industrial fruit. Halimbawa, kambing, meron kang kambing, marami kang kambing sa farm. Okay, pinapakain mo everyday. Okay, pina-injectionan mo sa veterinaryo, bigyan vitamins, meron ng human labor yon. So any baby ng kambing is also considered industrial fruits kasi may human labor na involved. Yung natural fruits class, wala kang ginawa, nagkaroon ng fruits. Yung industrial fruits, may human labor na involved. Number 3, civil fruits. These are fruits which are the result of relations. For example, pinarenta mo yung bahay mo. So, ikaw ang lessor, meron ng lessee. Meron kayong juridical relation. Yung bayad niya are called civil fruits. Okay? So lahat ng fruit, pag mag-deliver ka ng specific thing, kasama ang fruits, kasama ang accessions and accessories. Siyempre, pag nagbenta ka ng babae na kambing, pag deliver mo, sama mo yung baby ng kambing. Unless, Nag-agree kayo na hindi kasama yung fruits. Pwede yun. Eh sir, wala kaming agreement, silent. Sabi namin, kambing, isama mo yung fruits. Kasi sabi ng batas, when you deliver a determinate thing, you have to deliver the fruits, the accessions, and accessories. Okay, hindi sila kasama kung nag-agree kayo na alisin. Hindi kasama, pwede yun. Pero kapag wala kayong nag-agreehan, you have to deliver these fruits, accessions, and accessories, even if hindi na sila na-mention sa agreement. Understood na yan, nakasama sila. So, sino ba ang may right sa fruits? Yung fruits kanina, yung natural fruit, industrial fruit, at saka simple fruit. Sino ba ang may right doon? Of course, kung sino yung may-ari. Bakit? Kasi nga, accessio sedit principale. Itong accessio sedit principale class, applicable din to sa fruits class, ha? Okay, kung sino yung may-ari ng puno ng mangga, kung sino yung may-ari ng kambing, kung sino yung may-ari ng building na gerentahan, isa kanya yung fruits. Diba? Obvious man yan. So this is an important question class. When is the creditor entitled to the fruits? Okay, take note class, yung thing, yung specific thing is nasa debtor. Why? Kasi siya yung nag-promise na i-deliver sa creditor. So si debtor talaga ang may-ari ng thing. So dahil siya yung may-ari, sa kanya yung accessions, accessories, tsaka fruits. Sa kanya yun. Okay? So ang tanong nito is very important. Kailan ba maging entitled sa fruits? Si creditor. Si creditor. Take note class, the thing is kay debtor. Kay debtor yun, nandun sa kanya. Gina-preserve niya nga yun eh. Kasi nga sa kanya man talaga yun. Kaya lang nag-promise siya to deliver it to the creditor. So kung may fruits man yung thing na yun, habang nandun pa sa debtor, yung fruits na yun, is ang may-ari nun, si debtor. Hindi si creditor. Why? Because hindi pa na-deliver eh. Okay, the debtor being the owner is entitled to the fruits. Now, ang tanong, kailan ba magiging entitled sa fruits si creditor? Okay, so take note of this. He has no right, si creditor has no right to the fruits before the time to deliver arises. Okay, pag wala pa yung time to deliver, wala ilabot si creditor. Why? Because the debtor is actually the owner of the thing. So, sa kanya talaga yung fruits. Okay, si creditor only has a right at the time the obligation to deliver arises. Okay. Puno ng mangga, namunga before the time to deliver. Sino may-ari ng bunga? Si debtor. Now, ngayon, nag-agreehan ninyo na i-deliver after 5 days. After 5 days. So, before 5 days, may-ari ng fruits, si debtor. Pwede niya kainin yung mangga, bahala siya dyan. Benta niya, kasi sa kanya man talaga yun. But after 5 days, the obligation to deliver na. May obligation to deliver na. From that time, the creditor will have a personal right. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng personal right, class? Yung personal right, ibig sabihin, the creditor has now a personal right to demand the debtor to deliver the thing, including the fruits. Okay? Ang ibig sabihin ng personal right, class, ha? Kasi ang may-ari talaga nung thing, si debtor. As may-ari, siya yung may-ari ng fruits din. Pero si creditor has the right to demand the delivery of the thing and to demand the delivery of the fruits at the time to deliver arises. Ang tawag dyan, class, personal right. Yung, halimbawa, nung time na i-deliver na, nagbunga. Yung bunga na yung class, ang may-ari ng class si debtor talaga. Kasi sa kanya yung thing. Pero may personal right na si creditor to demand na i-deliver yung thing, pati yung fruit. Why? Kasi nga, delivery time na eh. Kung dineliver sana ni debtor kaagad yun, yung fruit na yun, mapupunta na yun dapat kay creditor. That is why may right siya na mag-demand na, huy, deliver mo na yan kasi time to deliver na. So, ang tawag doon sa personal right. Personal right class ang tawag dahil si creditor hindi pa siya ang may-ari kasi hindi pa na-deliver sa kanya. May right lang siya to demand. Ang tawag doon, personal right. Or also called jus in personam. Ang J class sa Latin is pronounced as Y. So, jus in personam. A right which is enforceable only against the debtor. So, personal right. The right to demand the person. Who is that person? The debtor. To deliver the thing, including the fruits. So, si debtor lang ang pwede niya i-demand. Hindi niya pwede i-demand ang ibang tao. Kundi si debtor lang kasi personal right lang eh. May personal siya na right na i-demand si debtor. Take note class ha. Before the delivery time, ang may right sa fruit is si debtor. Pagka delivery time na, may personal right na si creditor to deliver the thing including the fruits. And that right is called personal right or jus in personam. So will the creditor become automatically the owner of the fruits? No class, hindi automatic. Okay. From the time to deliver na delivery time, may right ng personal rights creditor to demand the delivery of the thing, including the fruits. Pero si creditor hindi pa siya may-ari ng thing, hindi pa siya may-ari ng fruits. Why? Because hindi pa na-transfer sa kanya eh. Pero meron na siyang right to demand. Pero hindi ibig sabihin nun na may right na siya na kagad ang may-ari. No, he's not the owner. He only has personal right to demand. He shall acquire no real right over it until the same has been delivered to him. So, kailan maging owner si creditor ng thing at saka ng fruits? Pagka na-deliver na sa kanya. Ang tawag kasi sa right of the owner class is real right. Or also called jus in rem. A right which is enforceable against the whole world. It is a direct and immediate juridical power over a thing. Okay? Pag na-deliver na yung thing, including the fruits, doon kay creditor, siya na may-ari. Yung personal right niya dati mag-demand lang. Ngayon, dahil siya na may-ari, dahil na-deliver na sa kanya, may real right na siya. Okay? Real right. Ibig sabihin yung right niya over the fruits, right over the thing, is now enforceable against the whole world. So, pwede niya na ipagsigawan sa buong mundo na akin na itong fruits, akin na itong thing. Yun ibig sabihin ng real right. Ang real right, yun yung right ng may-ari. Yung personal right kanina, personal right lang yun dahil hindi pa siya may-ari. May right lang siya to demand na i-deliver sa kanya. Okay, take note class ha. Importante ito masyado itong real right and personal right. Pabalik-balik lang ito ng question sa board exam. Okay, ang general rule class, ang ownership will be transferred upon delivery. Okay, pag na-deliver na, siya na yung may-ari, yung creditor. So, using the same illustration kanina, on January 1, 2020, Mr. D obliges himself to deliver to Mr. Chi a specific land on September 1, 2020. Assuming may mga puno doon sa land na yun ang nag-bear ng fruits. Who has the right to the fruit? from January 1 to August 31? Of course, kung sino yung may-ari. And in this case, yung may-ari si Mr. D. Okay? From January 1 to August 31, yung fruits will be owned by the owner, which is, in this case, Mr. D. Why? Because September 1 pa man ang delivery time. So, before delivery time, Mr. Chi, the creditor, has no right whatsoever to the fruits. So, who is the owner of the fruit on September 1? Pero hindi pa na-deliver. Kunwari, wala pa siya na-deliver. Pero dumating na yung delivery time. Who is the owner of the fruit? Of course, kung sino pa rin yung may-ari ng thing, si Mr. D. Why? Because hindi pa na-transfer yung ownership. Diba sabi natin, ownership will be transferred by delivery. So, kahit na delivery time na, pero hindi pa nag-deliver, okay, the owner of the fruit is still the owner of the debtor. Pero, meron ng right si Mr. Chi. What kind of right? Personal right. What is personal right? Personal right, that is the right to demand the delivery of the thing, including the fruits. So, paano ba mag-deliver ang debtor? Okay. So, delivery class also called tradition. Sa law class, ang delivery is also called tradition. Maybe actual or constructive. Okay, actual delivery class, of course, kunin mo sa kamay mo, ibigay mo sa kanyang kamay, tanggapin niya, that is actual delivery. Sometimes last delivery can be constructive. Example, lupa. Paano ba i-deliver ang lupa? Alangan kot-koton mong lupa, ibutang mo sa sako at i-deliver mo. Hindi naman pwede yun. Okay, unless ang binili niya garden soil. So, constructive delivery class sometimes, okay, ibigay mong title ng lupa. So, yung title ng lupa is a constructive delivery of the thing. So, actual delivery is when the thing changes hands physically. Okay. Constructive delivery, maraming klase ng constructive delivery class. So, take note of this. Kasi babalik ito sa next law subject ninyo on sales. Constructive delivery may be, number 1, traditio symbolica or symbolical tradition. It's like when the keys of the bodega are given. For example, i-deliver mo yung bodega, di mo naman pwede ibto ng bodega kag i-karga sa kotse at i-deliver. So, a symbolic delivery class is when you give the key. Okay? Binigay mo yung susi, ibig sabihin, diniliver mo na yung bodega. Example lang yun. It is called, this type of delivery class is called traditio symbolica. Number 2 is traditio longa mano. Ibig sabihin ng longa mano class, long hand. Delivery by mere consent or by pointing out the object of the thing. Tinuro mo lang. Like when you point out to the car to be sold. Kasi ang car, hindi pa naman pwede bit-bitin, no? At i-transfer sa kanya physically. Kasi mabigat naman yung car. So, pag nag-deliver ka, halimbawa, ito na yung car na sabi ko i-deliver ko sa'yo. Ituro mo yung car. Okay, that is called traditio longa mano. Number 3, traditio brevi mano. Brevi mano means shorthand. Okay. Delivery by shorthand is whereby a possessor of the thing, not as an owner, becomes the owner. Like when a tenant buys the house he is renting. For example, yung bahay, ikaw ang may-ari, nire-rentahan sa'yo by a tenant. And then, binili ng tenant yung bahay, hindi mo na kailangan deliver sa kanyang bahay dahil yung bahay is nasa possession na naman yung tenant. So, that is called shorthand kasi yung thing is nandun na talaga sa hand ng bumili ng tenant. There is no need to deliver it because there is no need to actually deliver it because the thing is already in the hand of the creditor. Ang tawag dyan sa delivery na yan is traditio brevi mano. Number 4, traditio constitutum possessorum. It is the opposite of brevi mano class. Okay, is whereby an owner who is the possessor of the thing retains possession not as an owner. Like when the house owner sells his house but remains in possession as a tenant. Baliktad siya sa brevi mano. Ikaw ang may-ari ng bahay, ibinenta mo yung bahay, pero ang agreement ninyo is return mo ulit yung bahay. Okay? So, there is no need for you to transfer the house doon sa nagbumili kasi i-retain mo yung possession ng house as a tenant. So, this kind of delivery is called traditio constitutum possessorum. The fifth one is tradition by execution of legal forms and solemnities. Like an absolute deed of sale is executed for the selling of the land. So, pag panotaryo ka ng absolute deed of sale, pag nanotaryo na yun, ibig sabihin na nun is constructive delivery. Dinideliver mo na sa kanya yung thing. Okay, by execution of legal documents or forms or legal solemnities. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the types of constructive delivery. You should also take note of this class dahil balik-balik ba yan sa board exam. Okay, so tapos na tayo dun sa duties ng debtor and an obligation to deliver determinating. This time, let us discuss what are the remedies of the creditor in an obligation to deliver a determinating. Take note, class, the word remedy refers to ang ibig sabihin ng remedy, class, is kung anong kaso ang pwede mo i-file sa court. Okay? Kung anong action. Ang tawag sa kaso, class, is action. What action will you file sa court? That is your remedy. Number 1 is file a specific performance na case for the fulfillment if still possible. Okay. Ibig sabihin, class, if the debtor will deliver the thing, there is no problem. Okay. The problem is when the will only arise if the debtor will not deliver the thing. So, anong remedy ni creditor? The creditor will file now an action sa court. Ang title ng case niya is specific performance. Ano nakalagay doon? You are asking the court to demand that the debtor, to order the debtor to fulfill his obligation, if possible pa, with the right to indemnity for damages. So, you can file a case, an action for specific performance with damages. Yan ang unang remedy ng creditor. Kaya isa tinawag na active subject, class kasi nga he can file an action sa court. Action, active. Action means, a court action means the filing of a case. So in case, sa number 1 class, in case the debtor will not deliver that determinating, the remedy of the creditor is to file an action for a specific performance with damages. Okay. Number 2, demand rescission or cancellation. Rescission, class, ibig sabihin cancel. Also with the right to damages. Okay, pwede ka rin mag-file ng case for rescission. Ang title ng case mo, rescission with damages. And number 3, demand for payment of damages only kung wala na ibang remedy. Example, class, the debtor promised to deliver a specific or determinating, kasi ang pag-uusapan natin dito is obligation to deliver a determinating. Okay. Then sinira nung debtor yung determinating Sinira niya yung specific car, kunwari. Nag-promise siya to deliver specific car, sinunog niya. So, hindi na siya pwede i-file ng specific performance kasi hindi na possible yun. Okay. Pwede ka mag-rescission with damages or damages only. Okay, so tapos na tayo sa determinating. Let us now discuss yung sa obligation to give an indeterminate thing. Sa indeterminate thing class, hindi natin alam kung yung thing, kung ano yung specific na thing. Ang sinabi lang is isang class, isang genus, isang group. So that is why it's called, the obligation to give a determinate thing is also called a generic real obligation. Generic kasi indeterminate yung thing. Real obligation kasi obligation to give. Illustration, example. On March 1, 2020, Daniel obliged himself to deliver to Carlo a car. So, a car. Generic siya. Indeterminate. Hindi siya specific. Kailan i-deliver? On October 31, 2020. So, elements of the obligation. Active, subject, or the creditor is, of course, Carlo. The debtor is Daniel. What is the prestation? The promise to deliver a car, which is a generic thing. And then what is the tie? The promise made by Daniel to Carlo. So what are the duties of the debtor in an obligation to deliver an indeterminate thing? Number 1, to deliver the thing which is the quality intended by the parties, taking into consideration the purpose of the obligation and other circumstances. So dahil indeterminate thing plus, dahil generic yung thing, car lang sinabi. So anong i-deliver niya? Yung quality intended by the parties. Ibig sabihin, si debtor will deliver a car, functioning car. Hindi siya mag-deliver ng car na walang gulong. Okay? Dahil it's not the quality intended by the parties. Kaya dahil ang purpose naman talaga ng car is para masakyan. So dapat the quality intended by the parties. Take note lang yung first duty ng debtor doon sa kanina sa determinate thing. Number 1, to preserve before delivery, di ba? Number 2, to deliver the fruits, accessions, and accessories. Pero dito sa indeterminate thing class, dahil yung thing is generic, hindi siya specified, so hindi natin ma-demand na i-take care yung thing. Why? Because the thing is generic. Isang class siya lang i-take care mo yung lahat ng car sa buong mundo. Okay? Yun namang obligation to deliver the accessions, accessories, kasama pa rin yung class kasi yung car naman may susi, ganun. So kasama pa rin. Yung fruits lang ang problema kasi nga generic. Kung may fruit ang buong class ng thing, mahirap i-determine kung saan doon ang i-deliver. So the number 2 duty of the debtor in an obligation to deliver an indeterminate thing is to be liable in case of non-fulfillment or breach. So diretso na tayo sa breach, damages for breach. Number 3 is to be liable for dolo, culpa, mura, and contravention of the tenor. So yun siya ang duties of the debtor in an obligation to deliver an indeterminate thing. So remedies naman ng creditor in an obligation to deliver an indeterminate thing. Okay? So, specific performance pa rin class ang tawag. O kanina, yung remedy yung kaninang discussion natin is the remedy of the creditor in an obligation to deliver a specific thing is specific performance. Dito sa indeterminate link class, ang tawag sa case mo is specific performance pa rin class. Hindi generic performance, specific performance. Kasi ito yung title ng case mo, specific performance. Ibig sabihin kasi ng specific performance is you will ask the court to order the debtor to fulfill his obligation. Ang tawag doon specific performance. Okay? So, wag mo yung isipin na pagka-specific thing, specific performance, hindi yun sila related. Nagkataon lang na specific performance lang din ang tawag dito sa case na ito. So, when you want to ask the court to order the debtor to perform his obligation, ang tawag specific performance. Kahit na yung thing is generic or specific performance pa rin ang tawag sa case mo. Of course, we have the right to demand for also for damages. Number 2, the creditor, dahil nga generic yung thing, may ask the court na yung obligation will be complied by another person. Kung ayaw ng debtor, di yung ibang tao ang ipa-comply, and then bayaran mo yung tao, then any expense na na-incur mo will be charged doon sa debtor. Okay? So, lahat ng mga nagastos mo dahil nagkuha ka ng ibang tao na mag-comply doon sa obligation. Okay? For example, the debtor promised to deliver a car. Hindi siya nag-deliver. Then you can ask the court that the car will be delivered by another person. Bayaran mo siya. And then all expenses na nagastos mo will be charged against the debtor. Okay? Number 3 is demand rescission or cancellation. Pwede mo rin pa-cancel na lang. Of course, with the right to recover damages. Number 4 is you may ask for damages only. If this is the only thing that is feasible